How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are continuously having a great evening. We're live. It's Thursday, and it's all good in the neighborhood. Now, I've always talked about group dynamics. Today's subject matter is about group dynamics and people having more of their own fraternal sisterhood, brotherhood, familyhood, whatever you want to call it. You need more and more of that. When you think about fraternities, when you think about the military, when you think about people being just members of specific organizations, one thing that is very true is a lot of times is a lot of networking that takes place and whatnot, and teams that are created and things of that nature. It works, and a lot of times, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work when people partner up. When it comes to business ventures, when it comes to helping another get a job and things of that nature, and putting money together. These things, because the susus are a big thing right now, and it's like, hey, if it's working for you, that's all that matters. But I will say with sincerity that we are in a time. You've had a lot of people that have played the economic game in a very, very smart and significant way. Now, when I mean a smart and significant way, it's basically they've put together a multitude of salaries and whatnot, and a multitude of game plans and business plans and whatnot, and they've worked together instead of going at it alone, which a lot of people are known to do. They've said, "Hey, my best friend or my cousin or my brother or my sister, hey, let's open up this shop together. We got to. We both work on cars. We both work for somebody working on cars. So why don't we just do the smart thing, putting our money together and opening up our own shop, leasing a spot or buying a lot or whatever have you. And we could do specific things and working on vehicles, motorcycles, boats, whatever. We're pretty good with our hands. Or we're both truck drivers. All right. But if we do the smart thing by putting our money together, we could actually create our own trucking delivery service or whatnot. Most truck drivers are independent contractors for the most part, but some aren't. Some still actually work for corporations and things of that nature. Or a lot of times people are like, well, hey, we have our own delivery service. So you always have a multitude of people who do a smart thing by they have skill sets and they team up instead of just having a skill set and trying to climb the corporate ladder. You know what I mean? And I've always been a fan of this before COVID-19, even before the last recession. Why? I grew up in a place where I seen the group dynamics work. And this is why a lot of people who have immigrated to the United States, they can have their own grocery stores. They can have their own delivery services, landscaping companies. They can have their own gas stations. They can have their own 7-Elevens. They can have their own massage parlors, cleaners. The list goes on and on. Okay, these people can truly make a difference. And hola. These people can truly make a difference, and they can truly do other things. They could have a hotel together. They buy into franchises together. Just because the simple fact is because what their networking group consists of is not people that are talking about the latest and greatest fashion or the latest and greatest music or the latest and greatest sports team. Their group dynamic consists of, hey, what is best thing that is in demand nowadays, and how can we capitalize on it in a capitalistic society? That group dynamic needs to be, I think it needs to become the norm for everybody nowadays, especially African Americans in particular. And I go into this because we have a looming crisis on our hands, no matter what the situation is with the state house or the White House. That's what I said. Get that out of your mind. I'm talking about because of obviously COVID-19, obviously because of various other things with the technology explosion continuously happening. And unfortunately, a lot of school systems are not even caught up to even create the future, digital scientists, the future scientists on all levels, the future IT specialists. A lot of people, the future engineers, the future creators and things of that nature. And I'm not trying to be Mr. All Doom and Gloom, but there's a good chunk of the population that is not prepared for today's economy and darn sure is not prepared for tomorrow's economy. Okay. And the reason why it's because, I know an eviction ban has been put into place since the end of this year, which I think is a very good thing because, we don't want, nobody wants to see a bunch of homeless people, people kicked out of their house and I'm a landlord. I don't want people to get kicked out of the house. I just think that would be the worst thing, no matter what country you live in. But definitely, in the U.S. economy, it'd be very bad. Unfortunately, though, you can't keep an eviction ban forever because, like I said, here's the thing: if eventually, but then here's the thing: if people can't pay the rent and money's not being spent, eventually a house will go into foreclosure unless they're just going to do an eviction ban until the end of time, or they're going to do what is I forgot that thing what they call it when people um can get away with not paying their mortgage for a certain amount, forbearance, yeah, and things of that nature. You can't have forbearance and eviction bans forever in a day. Eventually, the chickens are going to come home to roost. Like I mentioned in the video that I did earlier. Eventually, you're going to have people that they can't pay their light bills, electricity bills, and eventually, hey, the electric companies are like, look, federal government or state government, we're not making money here. So, and at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's not about being against the government. It's not about being for the government. It's just about doing the right thing at the end of the day. And you have these things that are looming where everybody's still at the I don't know stages. A lot of people are doing well in this economy. I'm not gonna say it's not all doom and gloom. I'm just talking about your everyday working people that that could be suffering very soon if things don't change. And the thing is, a lot of jobs have been in jeopardy before COVID-19. I just think with the digital age being put in a hyperdrive, because people have no choice, you're just going to see a lot of services that are not going to be needed. I mean, that's why they say consumer spending is down for a specific reason. And it's really because a lot of people, even the people that want to go out, there's a lot of places they can't go out. The only thing that I know that's booming is delivery services, especially Amazon, Grubhub, DoorDash. Those are the things that are booming. Uber Eats, things like that are booming, but there's still a lot of places that haven't fully opened. So if there's not really anywhere to go, I mean, even airlines are getting pretty hard right now, because even though I see every now and then on social media people flying places and whatnot, but they're just not flying like that. And obviously, even the airlines, they can't book the flights like they used to. So this is the new territory that we're in. And when will it change? Everybody's still at the I don't know stages. And the problem is, and I was like I said, I was talking to a buddy. Food pantries are losing. Not losing money, but they're running out of food because you have a lot of people that are in desperate need of food and whatnot. And I would imagine places like the Salvation Army, are actually, being utilized even more so because you have a lot of people that are unfortunately still suffering. There's but so much one can do on unemployment, and unemployment's not what it used to be, beforehand. So, like I said, the one thing I've been saying for years is the comfort zone is a death sentence. I've been saying that for a long time. And now that people had nobody could have foreseen this. So that's why I said I'm not blaming anybody. Nobody could have foreseen, this taking place whatsoever. So I'm definitely not blaming anybody about what their financial situation is right now. But what I am saying is, obviously, at some point, a grown-up has to take some sort of personal responsibility. But if a person can't work because of a virus, then it's not their fault, obviously. Okay. But like I said, that we're living in, because there's a projection of there could be up to, like I said, it's a projection, up to 28 million homeless people in the United States within the next year or two. Okay, most people are citing on the next year, because of obviously the situation. Like I said, you can't obviously keep an eviction ban forever because people won't want to be landlords anymore. Even though I know there's certain people that are getting actual rental assistance, which is a good thing. Like I said, the sane human beings want to make sure everybody's at least decent, okay, and things get back to quote unquote normal. But we know things are never going to get back to the way they were pre-COVID-19 because the game has changed. It's a game changer, So that is the main thing, and that's a lot of people. And with food pantries losing a significant amount of people of food now, that's not good. Okay, they're getting low on resources in that regard, and people are still trying to move on with their life. People are still trying to be able to go after the goals and aspirations, and I truly respect that. I do, but the elephant in the room here is this: you can't just have a job anymore. You got to be able to do something outside of your job. For those that are fortunate to have a job right now, be very thankful. As much as you want to complain about your boss and your coworkers and things of that nature, be very freaking thankful, because there's millions and millions and millions of people out there that would love to be in your shoes right now. Okay. A lot of people don't know right now where their next meal is coming from. A lot of people don't know if their bills, their lights are going to cut off. And there's certain states that are evicting people. They're still moving forward with this. So, because people buy real estate, it's about money. It is what it is at the end of the day. But the group dynamic is basically this. And this is how I get into, sorry, I'm looking at my dog, making sure she's don't get in no trouble. Anyways, the group dynamic is this. I think if you're part of an organization, this is just my personal opinion, you're part of an organization that if it gives back to the community, great. Okay. But the best way to give back to any specific community, in my personal opinion, after you've done the charity work, then you figure out a way how you can give someone a hand up instead of a handout. Okay. Now, if you're a Mason and if you do stuff like that, then great. If you're part of any specific local charity organization, great. If you're part of a fraternity or a sorority that does that stuff, great. My mindset is add on to that. I had the pleasure of going to a specific organization. This is right before everything was officially shut down. And I was very amazed at the people in the room that I was around. I could tell that people were very educated, a lot of prior service military people in there. Thank you for your service. A lot of professionals and whatnot. But my only concern was in this specific organization, like I said, I will not mention their name, is that I did not see anybody talking about business, ownership. The only ownership I saw people involved in is I'm owning a nice car and I own a big house, overpriced house in the DMV. Wow, that's never been done before. I'm totally amazed. And I should not sound sarcastic, but I'm going to sound sarcastic. It's been done. I grew up in the DMV, so it's been done 1,000 times over. So it's nothing new. I don't get impressed by that stuff. I grew up around that. Okay. But there was no discussions in regards to, hey, we should possibly purchase these specific lots, because as an organization, if we purchase these specific lots or commercial buildings or things, maybe even these houses and whatnot, and put them in the organization's name as a corporation, not only could we benefit from the actual housing and whatnot, or the lots and things of that nature, but we could actually benefit from actually helping other people. Maybe we'll get cheaper housing for other people and whatnot. We can work with HUD, you know what I mean? Housing Urban Development Department. Okay, we could help and work out with those people and things of that nature, and then hopefully, we could possibly create some different job opportunities. Maybe we get a warehouse and whatnot, and work in conjunction with Amazon or something to that effect, whatnot. Especially given the fact that more and more online sales are taking place. I mean, they're already talking about canceling Black Friday right now. So as an organization, or as a fraternity, or as a sorority, and I'm like I said, I'm not dogging any of these organizations, or if you're a Mason or whatever, we can create more economic opportunities, and instead of creating opportunities from instead of just giving food out at a specific time or whatnot, or just help clean up the community every now and then, and whatnot. And I think those are great efforts. I'm not dogging those efforts. Any good deed is never a bad thing, in my personal opinion. Okay. Like I said, my only aspect of it is just adding a layer onto that onion, okay, of ownership. And so you create a generation of people who want to be owners, or at least have the option of being owners and being job creators, instead of just being being an organization known for helping people once or twice a year and whatnot, or once a month and whatnot, instead of creating doors of opportunity. And then when more and more members of your organizations could possibly be business owners, franchise owners, then they can help hire these people that are in desperate need. Okay, that goes back to that group dynamic. And I've broken down the immigrant group dynamic and how they get down, and I always admire and respect that. Okay, but instead of having one paycheck or 4 paychecks, most people get paid twice a month. Okay, instead of having 4 paychecks in the household, people have about up to 15 paychecks up in the household. All right, they might have a multitude of people within that household, excuse me, and a lot of times that the people in the household, when something goes wrong with the house, they can fix it on their own instead of having to call somebody, having all those paychecks in that house that they own. Then they could borrow against the house or buy another house, or they could borrow against the house by basically taking equity out of that home and buying it, purchasing a business. And then when that business has equity and whatnot, they can borrow against that business and purchase another home or purchase another business. That's the true group dynamic that people have discovered. And I've especially seen this within Prince William County. I can't speak for any other part of the country, but I will speak about the part where I come from. That has taken place. Okay. I've seen people open up grocery stores with this dynamic, beauty salons, barbershops, restaurants, construction companies, landscaping companies, cleaning companies with that specific dynamic that I just described. Okay. Because they're working as a group instead of one person or two people. You got 6 or 7 people. Is it a perfect situation? No, not at all. No situation is. Okay. Is it a guaranteed situation? No. But just because you go to college does not guarantee you're going to get the great freaking job either. Because there's a lot of college graduates that will attest that most of the time the jobs they end up getting, they particularly really don't like them. Okay. Or they don't even stay in that career field. A lot of times they end up either going back to school for a certification or maybe a skill trade or maybe another freaking actual degree, in a different major and whatnot because they don't like what they do. I mean, I've known people to leave, they don't want to work at a hospital, but they like being a teacher. So they go work in the classroom, they take a pay cut, but they feel much more happier working in that classroom. Well, a lot of people who were teachers, they might go get a government job or actually go be an actual instructor at a corporation or be an instructor on their own and be a lot happier doing that, But I'm talking, when I say group dynamic, I'm basically talking about putting salaries together and whatnot. So I always give credit when I see people. I can tell that they working together in regards to having their own businesses, in regards to owning real estate, so that when you have a conversation with them, whether the state that they reside in has an income state tax or not, it's kind of irrelevant. Whether the cost of living is high within that area or not is irrelevant. Why? Because they put their dollars together. It's like I talked about months ago, voting with your dollars. These people vote with their dollars. These group dynamic people vote with their dollars every single day, or at least a couple of times a month, to the point where they are building equity in a multitude of things, to where they have multiple streams of income because they build equity within their house, a lot of times even in their vehicles, because they've registered the vehicles in their business's name. So therefore the businesses are giving the cars that they drive every day are actually giving them a tax write-off. And I've seen that. Okay, I've seen this with my own 2 eyes. It's not even just research that's been done. I've seen this group dynamic done with my own 2 eyes, from owning real estate, from owning vehicles, from owning businesses. A plan put in place and implemented. The group dynamic. That's why I got the picture of the ants in the thumbnail, because if you deal with one ant, yeah, you might be able to take them out and whatnot. But just think about dealing with a colony or a couple of colonies of ants and whatnot. Okay, when they work together, they can do some serious things. They can do some serious things. So when you really think about evolution, I think group dynamic is the new evolution for American people. Okay. Now you might say, well, I don't want to look like that, or might appear ghetto, or blah, 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 all these things. I say, if you're over 25, you're not in high school anymore. So who cares what people think about you? If this is helping you as a person grow, then grow. Okay. It's like the nonsense of, well, I don't want to go to that school because that's not an Ivy League school, or people are going to make fun of me. Who cares? People always think I'm confident. No, I just don't care. I let that high school nonsense back in my teens. I'm an adult now, man. It's like I do what I do because I want to do it. It's not because society says, well, that's not cool. No, I don't, I don't dress the way people dress for society's, blessing and things of that nature. Acceptance. The only acceptance one needs to really truly have is this going to help me grow? Because like I said, the problem with most people in the United States, a lot of people, they don't want to grow. They want to remain stagnated, and they want to just be constantly told what to do, instead of actually doing the real work, which involves research and talking to people that you really aren't too comfortable talking with, and implementing. And it's okay if you sound like an idiot or look like an idiot in front of somebody. Hey, I have, and I'm fine. I'm still standing, so it's fine. It's like that one book I started reading called "Get Off Your Butt and Cold Call" by Dana Samir. That's really what it goes down to. Hey, you make the call, you see what happens, you move forward. If it works out, fine. If it doesn't, it's a life lesson. You know, stagnation is this that's what's really hurting working people right now. Stagnated. I've said this once, I'll say it again. If somebody that can barely speak the English language can prosper in the United States of America, then what the heck are you doing with your day? If you know more about the Washington football team and the Dallas Cowboys, and you don't have a specific skill set, you better have some pensions to back that up, because I don't know what you're doing with your life. Man, woman, child, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Okay, if the people that you engage with on a regular basis don't add any value to your life, and you don't try to add any value to their life, and all you do is gossip about people and trash people and especially gossip about people you're never going to meet, you're never going to have an encounter with and whatnot, then I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's called having a specific code of ethics of your own. Nobody has to enforce this kind of code of ethics in you. Okay. Because if you ever look at somebody and say, how are they doing it? This is how they do it. I'll talk to a business owner in a New York Minute and ask them how did it get done. Sometimes they'll say bug off. Sometimes they'll talk to me. They'll have a specific conversation with me. Oh, this is how we did it. I remember this one pizza joint that was owned by this Indian family that I used to frequent all the time back, like, was it 7, 8 years ago? And I said, how you guys get this place up and running so fast and whatnot? And the main thing he told me is, well, we worked everybody in the house. It was 2 families. We worked odd jobs. Then we brought more family members over here. And then they worked odd jobs and whatnot. Everybody was either driving a cab, because this is before Uber. Everybody was driving a cab. Everybody was, a couple people were doctors. Some had office jobs. Some worked at 7-Elevens and other odd jobs and things of that nature. But we put our money together. We bought a house. We borrowed against the house, and we bought this pizza joint. And now, and everybody that works there is a part of the family. So they hired nothing but their family members. Okay. And then he's like, yeah, the next plan is to build up the equity in this business. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to buy a 7-Eleven. The goal is to truly buy a hotel, but for now, we're just going to buy a 7-Eleven and whatnot. So, and last I heard, because I haven't been there in years, and I used to just, have a conversation with them every now and then when I would go pick up my pizza. But the last I heard is they ended up getting a 7-Eleven in either Ohio or upstate New York, because I remember going to franchise convention one time, and I found out, because I talked to 7-Eleven. I was thinking about, hey, maybe I'll open up a 7-Eleven and whatnot. And they was like, well, actually, in some instances, if you're willing to move, they told me, hey, if you move to upstate New York, we'll open up a 7-Eleven for you for free, because we don't have anybody that wants to live in this part of the country, and it's upstate New York. So I'm like, yeah, I know I don't want to live there. But those situations happen just by having the conversation, just by making the ass, as they call it, just by, spending your day off, and that's what I did, spending your day off by going to a place instead of just screwing around and being on the television and whatnot all day, or being on your cell phone and whatnot, on social media, posting stupid crap. It's just getting outside of that box and just, what did I know about 7-Eleven? Not a darn thing. I used to go to them every now and then, but as far as from a business perspective, I did a little research online, but that's what I'm getting at, man. It's like, and the problem is, a lot of people, even during this pandemic, unfortunately, a lot of people have had the opportunity to try to create something new. And I've seen a lot of people start creating businesses, so they get nothing but respect from me on that one. Hat goes off to the new business owners right now. I've seen people open up their LLCs. I've seen people prosper. I've seen people have their own house cleaning business. I've seen people power washing business. I've seen people construction business. I've seen these businesses continuously, because these are things that can't stop because of COVID-19. These are things that can't stop. You can't shut these, houses need to be worked on. Lawns need to be cut. Houses need to be cleaned. Especially if you had a cleaning company during COVID-19, you were killing it. Okay. You were killing it, especially most likely if you were getting contracts with the federal government, the state government, and the local government. Come on now, corporations, some mom and pop businesses. Think about it. Think about it. There's a gentleman, Mr. Fitzgerald. He's talking about opening up his own cleaning company down south. And I was like, yeah, I know he's going to do it, and he's going to flourish at it. He's going to get those contracts too, especially nowadays because unfortunately it took COVID-19 to really realize that cleanliness is next to godliness. But some people just don't get that dynamic. But yeah, it's very, very interesting to say the least. The world that we're living in right now. But the thing is, I think 2021 is going to be a disaster for a multitude of people that just want to have I'm going to be a regular 40-hour a week W-2 employee. The times are looking rough no matter who the president is. So like I said, you're going to vote for, you're going to vote for us. I don't care about that. But it's time for people to look forward and look ahead and look beyond the hills. Okay. And if you Google the jobs that are in demand right now, I mean, that's the funny thing. Okay. That's the funny thing. I'll start off with certain jobs that are actually disappearing. And then I'm going to talk about a couple of jobs that are actually highly in demand right now because of COVID-19. Highly in demand right now because, and this is for my job seekers, and these are even possibly for the people who want to become business owners. This is something that you can look into. I mean, heck, my friend, what is it? My friend, brother from another mother, Adrian Gonzalez, was talking about, coming to Notary Republic. I think, and especially nowadays, a lot of Notary Republics in certain states can actually do their job online, and they're always going to be needed. Okay. All right, so one of the jobs that's going away, newspaper reporter. Obviously, even though all the newspapers have gone online, I think I see a newspaper every now and then. But I mean, let's be honest. Print media is for the most part dead. I can't even remember. I did a newspaper. I was in Seattle, Washington. I was at the gym, and it was an older gentleman. He looked older than my mother, so and some people still love their hardcore media. So I'm not going to knock that, but hey, it's just as a society, there's certain jobs that are going on. There's certain jobs that are going to, be on the rise. You know what I mean? And then what is it? So I'll go into the jobs that are actually in demand right now. Home health aide, obviously, especially given the fact that we're at the stay-at-home economy, so it doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Um, a job that could possibly be going away is lumberjack, but I think that just really depends on the part of the country that you live in. There won't be as big of a need for lumberjackers because obviously a lot of machines are doing the work for them. Another job that's obviously going to remain in demand. I know if it's in the medical field, nursing assistant, um, actual, when it comes to construction workers, are always going to be in demand, especially the skilled construction workers like your electricians, your welders, you know what I mean? People that are just jack of all trades, plumbers, physical therapy aides, definitely going to be in demand, obviously, especially given a lot more health conscious nowadays, so they work out more. The very of ensuring that they stay in shape. Apparently, flight attendants are not going to be as in demand within the future as most people would think. There's going to be less and less need of them, obviously, because of the digital age that we're in right now. Medical technologists will definitely be in demand. Like I said, anything medical related, truck drivers, even with a lot of self-driving cars. But given the fact that more and more online deliveries are taking place, I mean, you see Amazon drivers, FedEx drivers, UPS drivers all over the place. Okay, I can't even lie about that. Operations research analysts will be in demand. I could definitely see that, especially the data analysts, financial advisors, absolutely, especially given the fact that more and more people are trying to become more financially conscious about their lives and whatnot and about the situations, about everything. Health services administrator, absolutely. Registered nurse, they've always been in demand. The web developers, physical therapists, definitely. Information security analysts, especially given the fact that, as more threats are posed towards specific networks of nations and companies and things of that nature, you're going to need more and more cybersecurity and information security analysts, specialists. Statisticians, as they gather data about a given field and things of that nature, such as agriculture, health, they use math and statistical skills, things of that nature. Yeah, that's definitely going to be in demand. There's no surprise there. Software developers, as obviously because more and more people are utilizing software nowadays, so it's definitely going to continuously be in demand. So this is where we are at as a society. I don't see it going away anytime soon. You know what I mean? And it's just going to be a very interesting time that we're living in. And I just think that those who are prepared are going to be the ones that prosper. Those who are just going to stay by the sideline are not going to prosper. I can't put it any other way. The status quo is over with, family. It truly is. And if you think you're going to be able to make it out here by yourself like the good old days, I'm sincerely doubting that. I'm just, like I said, my prediction within the next 5 to 10 years, I'm thinking that more and more people are going to need more and more people to survive and exist and things of that nature. Getting back to it takes a village. That's really where I'm at with it. Thinking really getting to that well, people. It's we're in a digital age, and most people don't go to libraries anymore. It's just fast food cooks. A lot of machines can do a lot of things that the fast food cooks can do. So tax examiners and collectors, I think that goes hand in hand because as more and more people become more of a 1099 focused economy, that's what we're going in. As they call the sharing economy. If you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, if you're a Grubhub driver, DoorDash driver, etc., you're a 1099 employee. Basically, you're self-contracted. But the taxes the tax write-off you get back, oh, tremendous. Taxi dispatcher, those are things not going to be needed. I can believe that because we're in a digital age. Farmers, we're always going to need farmers, but they're just not, because of the technology and the machines, they're just not going to need as many personnel working the fields. Travel agents, that goes hand in hand. A lot of people still utilizing travel agents. I know the travel business is, not booming as much as it was. There's still a lot of good deals out there now, given the fact. But I just think it depends. You have to be a true hustler to be a good travel agent now in today's society because, people can book it on for themselves. But the beautiful thing about utilizing the travel agent services is obviously you can get a good discount. So that's why I said it's like, it just depends on the situation. All right, but that's if you're not with the group dynamic, I think eventually you're going to have no choice but to be with the group dynamic. The one thing after the Great Depression that was that people learned is that they had to start working together. It was like for a lot of people, having 4, 5, or 6 people sleeping in one bed was actually normal at one time in the United States. I think people forget that we've been very fortunate, and some people would say, I think my grandfather's generation would say, my grandparents' generation would say, spoiled to a certain effect, because a lot of people, you forget, like my grandparents and great grandparents' generation, a lot of them, the baby boomers, WW2 generation, WW1 generation, a lot of them grew up without running water. A lot of them grew up without toilet. A lot of them if you look at a lot of those old houses in the country, but it's not like that just in foreign countries, like that in parts of America. Those old houses, it's like you might have 1 bedroom, you had a living room, and that was it. And then the bathroom was the outhouse in the back. Okay, away from the house and whatnot. You had to, whether it was hot or cold, you had to take a nice long walk and you use the bathroom. But usually you walk into those old country houses, and unless you were rich, you saw one thing. You saw the living room, the kitchen, all in one area, and then a bed or 2 beds in that same specific area and whatnot. Or sometimes they would just flip the mattress up, or a lot of times people just slept on the hardwood floor and whatnot. But most people in the United States have a lot to be thankful for, because that's where a lot of people, not only from foreign countries, come from, that kind of environment, but a lot of people in the United States used to live like that too. Okay, nobody had their own bedroom, nobody had their own bed. Nobody had running water. So, like I said, we have a lot to be thankful for. It's one thing I always admire about Master P. Master P did not have his own bed until he actually went to college. So from a child to 17, 18 years old, he did not have his own bed. Like I said, I think we take a lot of things for granted, unfortunately. But you see the new job market, it's up to you. There's like I said, there's a lot of multitude of skill sets that are needed out there that I haven't even mentioned. Okay, but where will you take advantage of it? I mean, insurance definitely, because more and more people are becoming more insurance conscious. So people who are becoming insurance agents are definitely needed. Okay, so that's just one thing to take into consideration. Excuse me, definitely a little thirsty. But on that note, I hope that you take one thing with sincerity from this video is to always reconsider how you make money. Money's not everything, but money can be a tool that can utilize not only keeping you alive, but it's a tool that can utilize helping you create a new destiny that maybe society doesn't want you to be on, but it's a destiny that you want to be on. And I think that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. A lot of people are moving to other states. A lot of people have moved to other countries around the world, seeking new adventure or just seeking new opportunities. I think that's a great thing. My mindset is if you're going to live your life, it better be on your friggin' terms, not someone else's. All right. On that note, do the great 3 free things: like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great day. And as always, make money moves. Tune in Saturday. We're having the Financial Monsters panel. Hopefully I can make this a thing that's on a monthly or every 2-month basis and whatnot. A lot of great people to talk to. So definitely don't forget to tune in. All right, family. Take care. And as always, make money moves.